Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Satsu Mart. So today is the very long anticipated video where we talk about our favorite mods for this new update. The mods that I deem to be essentially must-haves. Some of them may or may not be just things that improve quality of life. Maybe they add some things that maybe you aren't really interested in. So the fact that I call these must-haves is a little bit obviously personal preference. So I think these mods are very useful and I enjoy them. Not everybody's going to agree, but these are my recommendations. So let me know what you guys think about them. All right, so one of the first mods we want to talk about is Despawn on checkout. So basically what this mod does is after the customer checks out, instead of going and walking all the way back home, they basically just disappear, which can definitely help your game out a little bit if you're having some issues with lag and frame rate. You know, the less customers and moving parts on the screen at one time, the better. So having the ability to have your customers just kind of disappear and allow more customers to just come in once those people are done does break the realism a little bit, if that's something you care about in a game like this. But it does help with performance a little bit. So this is one of those mods that I've put on and just haven't taken off because there's really no reason to. It's just a net benefit as far as the game performance goes, but if that's something you don't like, then obviously you don't have to do it. So the next mod we want to talk about is going to be the employee training program. As you can see, I've talked about this mod plenty of other times. The employees are able to carry multiple boxes and they level up with your store. So one of the best things is the fact that, you know, this game has a pretty decent sense of progression. As you move forward throughout the game, you get to see your store kind of grow and evolve over time. And this mod allows your employees to do that alongside the store, which is really great. It's really nice. It ups their overall performance over time. Obviously, like I said, gives them the ability to carry multiple boxes, and that increases over time. They carry more and more boxes, and the benefit of that is instead of going back and grabbing one item and coming out to put it on the shelf, they can grab multiples and put multiple things away at once. It just makes them way more efficient, makes your store run a lot smoother, and it basically prevents you running out of stuff, which tends to happen a lot in this game, especially if you're using some other mods that increase the amount of customers in your game. There is another mod that you would probably want to download alongside the employee training program, and that is the Pallet Mod fix. It's basically a patch to allow the employees to properly fill these pallets the way they're supposed to be filled, because without it, they don't fill the pallets up all the way for some reason. So you can find that on the actual page for the employee training program. Just make sure you get that too, because it's going to be needed if you're using pallets. And since we're talking about pallets, let's go ahead and talk about the Pallet Mod also. As you can see, it allows you to put a large quantity of items on these pallets, and basically sets you up to where you won't run out of these items very quickly at all, because there is a ton of them on these pallets at one time, and you can just buy a bunch in bulk and let these sell through, and you don't have to worry about it too much, which is really nice in this game. It's actually really nice to be able to do that and to have that available for you. So pallets are great. They're particularly good for larger items, so toilet paper, sacks of potatoes, and different things like that are very nice for the pallets. Although I tend still not to carry those things in my store because they're still very cumbersome and they take up a lot of space back in your storage room. And I know that statement may sound weird to some people who play this game, the fact that I've opted out to carry things. And you may be wondering how I get the option to do that. Well, that's because of this next mod, which is called Ignore Unlisted Items. So basically what this does is, in this game, whenever you buy a new license, for whatever reason, everybody tends to telepathically know what items you have or are supposed to have in your store, regardless of if they're on the floor. Ignore Unlisted Items basically says, if it's on the floor, it's what you sell. If it's not on the floor, then you clearly don't sell it. So if you have not placed it on a shelf or a freezer or whatever, a pallet, and there is no label or tag for it, then according to the store or the customers, you don't carry it, which means you can really customize exactly how you want your store to be. So if I literally just wanted to make a candy store where I did exclusively junk food and snacks and cookies and whatever, or just whatever is available in the game, and that's it, that's all I wanted to do, I could do that. And nobody would come looking for items that aren't out on the shelves. So if I only want to sell books, if I only want to sell, I don't know, just coffees and teas, if you only want to sell cereal, I guess, if that's what you want to do, you can do that, which makes your store a lot more customizable. I feel like it opens up the gate to allow stores to be a lot more personalized, which is always good in a game like this. I don't think that it's right to force people to utilize every single product that the game has to offer. I think it just takes away from the individuality. So there you go. That's a good one, and it's one of my favorite mods of all time. The next one we're going to talk about is Smarter Restockers. This is a relatively newer mod, and I really like this one because it helps a lot with a lot of the problems that employee training program tends to have. So because of the fact that your employees now can carry multiple boxes and stuff, this tends to cause some problems sometimes. And whenever, let's just say, for example, this entire shelf is empty. If I was to activate the restockers to come out, what would probably happen is multiple different restockers would grab this bread, and they would all attempt to start restocking it at once. And for whatever reason in this game, when multiple restockers are attempting to restock one item, it causes issues. It causes them to freeze in place. Some of them stop, or they'll get caught up in some kind of like action loop and just like won't move for a while. And that's been a big issue for a lot of people with the restockers in this game. So what Smarter Restockers does is it states that if there is anything or any current action currently being taken place by a restocker, that action cannot be repeated. And it also does a couple other things too, but that's kind of the main one. So if one of the restockers come out and they grab this bread, they are the only ones permitted to restock this until it's done. All the other restockers will prioritize other items that aren't currently being taken by other restockers, which increases the overall efficiency by a significant amount. And that actually works for the multiple boxes too. So if a restocker goes in the back and they grab this, and this, all four of these things are now off the table. So if anything else needs to be restocked, then the restockers will have to grab other things. So like I said, it's a huge efficiency boost. It also prevents for the most part, not completely, but for the most part, it prevents your restockers from getting stuck on stuff. And it just, makes sure your store is running more smoothly, which is 100% something that you want to happen. The next mod we're going to talk about is Better Save Systems. What this mod does is it allows you to have multiple game saves. So if you see here on the main menu, you can go to create a save, and this will create a new game with a specified save name that you chose, or you can load previous game saves. Now, there's a little bug happening with this one here where it kind of moves this is supposed to be centered, but now these are kind of moved up here. It's not that big a deal or whatever. You're most likely going to be choosing the most recent save anyway, so just click that. It'll boot up and you'll be back in your earliest game save. So this game should have save states to begin with. Almost every knockoff or every other freaking supermarket game that I've played, every single one of them has the ability for you to have multiple game saves. So this is probably the only one that doesn't. And it makes no sense, like 0 sense. It's almost baffling that you can't do that in this game, but here we are. That's not even on their roadmap either. Like, you would think that would be something they want to strive for. It's not even on the roadmap, bro. Another really big one you would definitely want to pick up, I would highly recommend, is called No Max Order Limits, which means that whenever you go here and you want to order things, you're not restricted to just 10 items. You can order as many as you could possibly want, and it'll order all of them at once, and they'll all show up, and your restockers will put them away and all that good stuff. Like, everything is great. So I really like that mod because being restricted to 10 items at a time, especially once you get close to the end game. Like once your store is pretty huge, you got 4 cashiers, you got over 100 different items. Restricting you to only ordering 10 items at a time is the most asinine thing I think I've ever seen. It makes zero sense at all. But it's a thing in this game. And I know people hear me say stuff like this. They're like, oh my God, you sound like you really don't like this game. No, I like it. I love this game. But that is why my criticisms are so pointed and harsh, because I want this game to be better and it should be better. And because I've played the competition's games and I see what the competition has out there, it's just a head scratcher as to why this game does not have some key or core features that should be included. And as a gamer and a person who likes this game and it wants it to be better, like it's kind of my obligation to point that out, you know? Like it's just, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, you know, as a person who wants this game to be better. If I didn't care, then I wouldn't have any complaints. I'd be like, whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. But it does matter because it will make the game better and I enjoy the game. So, you know, don't take these harsh criticisms as I don't like this game or that I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy it and I want it to be better. So moving on from that one, the next one is Unrestricted Placement, probably one of my other favorite mods. And essentially what that does is it allows you to put things anywhere. So the game cannot no longer tell you that you can or cannot put something anywhere. You can put things anywhere you want, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it is obstructed by other things. The game's just like, well, I mean, if you feel like it goes there, then I guess it does. And everything is green. This one comes in handy quite a bit because there are some items in this game that just can't be moved close enough to each other, and even though it seems like it would fit there, the game is telling you no, and it's just a hassle. So being able to place things wherever you want, however you want, gives you a bit more freedom as to how the layout of your store is going to be, and I think that's just good. The next one we're going to talk about is a pretty big staple in this game. I think pretty much everybody who mods uses this one, and this is the Stock Manager. Basically, it tells you what's in your current inventory in the store, and it also keeps track of what you have on your shelves and back in the storage room. Just something, once again, that should be included in the game by default. It will be added at some point where you can actually keep track of your inventory, and that is on their roadmap, so that's something that is coming. Eventually this mod is going to become obsolete, which is totally fine because, like I said, this stuff should be in the game already, so it is nice that it's on their list. But for now, you have to use this in order to be able to properly maintain and check your inventory. And then last but not least, this one is not super mandatory, but it's nice to have. It is called Easy Delivery. And essentially what it does is it allows you to go into your computer, and when you order things, if there is a space available for that item on your back shelf and you purchase a box, so for example, we're gonna go ketchup here. It says there's 28 ketchups in the back, which there should be multiple slots back there for it. So if I buy 2 boxes of ketchup and I go to purchase, as you can see, they did not appear on the curb because Easy Delivery allows those items to be sent automatically to the shelf as long as there's room back here. So wherever the heck the ketchup is, because I don't remember where I put it. It's back here somewhere, but wherever. Oh, here it is. So there's even more slots back here. So even if I bought upwards of like 7 more boxes, maybe they would all come back here and fill the shelves properly, and I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, bringing them back myself or having my restockers bring them back. You can also pick up a box from the curve and press E to automatically send it to the shelf also. So that's another thing. So if you don't have any restockers yet and you do have a storage room, you can press E to send things automatically to the back storage room, which just makes things a little easier and streamlines it. It's like I said, this one's kind of an acquired taste. You either enjoy running back and forth or you don't. I don't. I cannot stand running in here, coming out and grabbing a box, and running in here and coming out and grabbing a box. I'd rather be able to just grab the box and just send it back. Of course, there's the argument of realism again. But, you know, I mean, it really just depends on where you land in that conversation, but there's tedious things I just don't like to deal with, and that's kind of it. So you'll probably notice that I did miss a mod or two that were in the regular lineup, which delivery organizer was one of them. It's just not really needed anymore. Your restockers pick up stuff off the curb, and you now have a separate mod that allows you to order more than 10 items. So these days, delivery organizer just isn't really that great. It also causes a lot of issues and confusion now with your restockers that just, to be honest, just isn't really worth dealing with at this point. So I haven't really been using that one, and there are probably a couple others you could name that aren't really all that great or that useful anymore. So hopefully this helped. These are the mods that I have primarily been using for this particular patch update. And there are a couple new ones that have been coming out that seem pretty interesting, but none of them really made it to this list because none of them seem to be what I would consider to be essentials or anything that you really need. It's just, you know, quality of life stuff and other kind of weird niche things. But there'll be videos on those things also too. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. Hopefully it helped you guys out. I really like making these videos and getting this content out for you guys. I feel like I'm the only channel really consistently covering mods for this game. But make sure you guys are sharing and all that stuff, and show some love. Hit that subscribe button and follow and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next one.